This is the Thung Viewpoint. With stops like this, the 720 kilometers from Phang Nga to Bangkok starts to seem perfectly manageable, even with 3 small kids. Add in stops at a couple of Surat Thani's mountain springs and it looks even better. Do the whole thing during Songkran, Thailand's most delightful holiday, and the trip becomes an absolute pleasure.
Join us as we celebrate Songkran from Surat Thani to Bangkok.
In the first 10 days of our Bangkok to Phang Nga loop, we had explored the jungles of the Isthmus of Kra, visited Thailand's loneliest big island, snorkeled the stunning reefs of the Surin Islands, discovered hidden coves on the Khao Lak coast, and explored the 42 islands of Phang Nga Bay. Now, at last, the time had come to turn back north towards Bangkok and home. First, we had to cross the Isthmus of Kra, leaving the Andaman Sea behind us as we made our way to the Gulf of Thailand. Our first stop was the Hua Khong Waterfall, which isn't really much of a waterfall at all. It's a freshwater spring that bubbles up right next to the highway. The water is cold and clear, perfect for a swim. It's also normally pretty quiet, but this was Songkran, a festival which has water at its heart.
I will swim in absolutely anything. Kind of cool because it was fresh water and it didn't hurt my eyes, so I didn't need goggles. I was playing with my dad in the cold river. It was too cold. I tried to climb out, but my dad just put me back in.
From Hua Khong, it was only a short but very wet drive to our next stop. Over Songkran, kids lined the streets with buckets, hoses, and barrels of water, soaking every car that comes close enough. It's so much fun.
That's disrespectful, that is.
Right away.
Oh, they got her very good.
I think
Ban Nam Rad, also known as the Headwater Forest, is another freshwater spring famous for its gin clear water. Today, however, the water was a little stirred up. The spring was packed with local families enjoying the holiday. It was a pleasure to watch.
This is a wild river otter. He lives in the river. He is not a pet. It was very bitey, but he didn't bite anyone. She really likes the lady, and it likes playing with the lady's jacket.
Again, this would normally be a pretty quiet spot. Most weekdays you'd have the place nearly to yourself. But luckily for us, and especially because we were hungry and looking for something to eat, it was a lot more lively. Rows and rows of food stalls set up to cater to the holiday crowds. Sticky rice, mubing, grilled chicken, and somtam. You can't go wrong with it.
The owner of the somtam shop wanted to help us celebrate Songkran. She mixed up a powder in a bowl and painted our faces with it. Even Mom and Dad.
Isabel,
Yeah?
what is on your cheeks?
I think it's for Songkran because it's traditional, maybe.
Yeah, what's the tradition?
You have to throw water at people and it's Thai New Year. I think because I don't know.
So as we found out, the paste is a kind of clay called din so pong, and I guess dabbing it on someone's face is meant to act as a blessing for the new year, bringing good luck, protection, and prosperity. We had plenty of time to learn about it as we made the long drive north towards the Gulf of Thailand.
In the back of that, you got no help. No help for you.
The drive itself was honestly a little bit surreal. We had the water fights on the road, we had a few burning mountains, and very appropriately for the water festival, we saw the first storm clouds of Thailand's annual monsoon. We finally reached Pak Takao Beach on the Gulf of Thailand, which is worlds apart from the wild white sand beaches of the Andaman coast. When the tide goes out here, it really goes, exposing acres and acres of featureless sand flats. But one thing they do have in common is really, really good and really, really cheap seafood.
Yeah, so I'm enjoying the squid because last time I had squid it was really not that great, but this is very small and fresh and straight from the sea, not at all chewy. The good spicy sauce, it's great.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And the prawns are also
Prawns are delicious.
really, really good.
Yeah.
Those for the kids.
The next morning, we were back on the road, still heading north along the scenic roads of the Thai Riviera. In a country blessed with just many, many great drives, this is still one of my absolute favorites. We'd gambled a little bit too on a kind of out-of-the-way lunch stop, and it really, really paid off. Happy Bar sits on Thung Beach, which is pleasant enough on its own, but what really sets it apart is the totally improbable spire of limestone that rises up above it. It is really, really impressive. And I'm very happy to report that you can climb it. So while the kids played on the swings and Kat ordered lunch, I started the quick walk up. Quick, but as Isabel has noted elsewhere, April in Thailand is hot. It's not a hard scramble, but it's definitely steep, and I needed to use the ropes that somebody had laid in. And when I say steep, I mean like it's a sheer instant death kind of drop over the side. But this is the view you get when you get to the top, and I'd say it's worth the risk. Ugh, selfie. I found Kat waiting down at the bottom, and she had outdone herself with the ordering.
What is that?
This is in my toe. We're on the beach at Happy Bar. It was awesome.
Next time we pass this way, I will be sure to time it so that we can get a swim in too. And it's just beautiful. We continued our march up the coast, and the party did not stop. Whole stretches of the highway were turned over to Songkran celebrations. Party or no, the kids were completely out. This is the first time in as long as I can remember that they were all asleep at the same time. Ugh, so close. We had just a couple of hours more to go before we reached Samroy Yacht Beach. We arrived just in time, right before a 3-mile-long celebration shut down the coastal road for the rest of the night. There's really only so long anyone can handle the crazy volume of a Songkran street party. So once we'd hit that limit, we wandered away from the water fights and played on the beach for a couple of hours more, seeking out seashells and hermit crabs. A couple of hours of driving in the morning would see us back home in Bangkok, and our 2-week road trip would be over. It is never long enough. We do have some ideas about how we might fix that. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and we'll show you what we've been thinking. Thanks for watching.